Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the CHAL, and today Chall Chats Doncaster Rovers drawing 2-2 away at Salford City last night. Please like, comment, subscribe for more content on the channel. We got on the road to 3K and 500,000 views. Let's get there as soon as possible, please. And for now, guys, let's get straight into this and talk about this. Look, I think it's fair to say the first 20 minutes we were not at the races. It was very much a physical sort of outcut game. And then obviously we got the goal via an own goal. Then a minute later we concede via an own goal. And we didn't really look great after we scored our goal through an own goal. And Salford came back into it. It was very much a physical game. I think on the pitch we were on, I think it was a very physical game. Salford were the same. I think there was only one shot on target for each team going into the break. So I kind of told you where we were in terms of the game. But the second half, we were much, much better. I thought one of the positives let's talk about the first half, first of all. One of the, I guess, main positives from that first half was Matt Smith staying quiet. And I think that's something I've said on previous matchups against Salford that we needed to do. We needed someone to nullify Matt Smith. And Tom Anderson did that. Now, I think it's fair to say, from a fan base perspective, there was a lot of doubt about starting Tom Anderson. But I'll tell you something now, that guy has put in a fantastic performance last night. He put in a fantastic performance. There was a lot of doubt surrounding Tom Anderson in terms of, can he, if that's his job, can he nullify Matt Smith? Can he keep him quiet? He did just that. And I'm really, really proud of Tom. And he's a really experienced player. And, let's speak on Tom Anderson for a second, because a lot of fans are saying, get rid of him now. Some fans are saying, let him go in the summer and things like that. And then you see performances like that, and it's like, if we see that week in, week out when he's fit, we've still got a good experienced defender there. So it's like, it's that frustration of, and I think that's the running theme of this game. It's what might have been. That seems to be the running theme of this particular match. And it translates to Anderson, what might have been if we see that week in, week out. Because we know we've got it in him. He isn't the same player he was 2 years ago. He hasn't got the pace that he had 2 years ago. But I'll tell you something now. He's still an experienced defender. And on his best day, he is still a good defender. We're not going to completely cancel that because of the mistakes he's made in the past. So I kind of said my piece on socials last night. I said, look, he's got a year left. Whether he goes this summer, whether he goes next summer, doesn't matter. My stance on it is, whenever he goes, announce it before he goes, announce it before the last game of a season, whether it's this season, whether it's next season, announce it before that final game, that final home game. Because then, when we know whether it's this season or next season he's going, we can all unite and give him a proper send-off. Because let's not cancel the facts here. Tom Anderson's been here for, 8 seasons now? He's won promotion from this level. Yes, he's been relegated from this level as well. But, he has won promotion from this level. He's been relegated to this level. But he's still been a great 8-year servant overall. The last couple of years has been on and off because of just coming back from that injury at Fleetwood 2-3 years ago, and he's not been the same player. So he's had to get back to a certain level. There's been other defenders that have come in ahead of him at the moment, and he's been struggling to start. And we know from Grant's press conferences a few weeks ago that he has been available for selection, and it's just not been a case of he's getting involved in the squad at the minute. He's been down the pecking order. But he came on that pitch when he started last night, and he did well. There is still a player in there. It's just, I don't think we're going to see a lot of it next season because I think other defenders will be ahead of him. But he will still play some kind of role in next season. For me, I think we're going to let him see the last year of his contract out and then give him a proper good send-off at the end of the next season. That's just my stance on the situation. I've got nothing against Tom Anderson at all. Do I think some of his performances this season could have been better? Absolutely. But I don't have to say that because I think he already knows that. So for me, I would just, for me, I personally would let him see the last year of his contract out. At the minute, I wouldn't sign a new one, but I'd let him see the current last year out and just let him have a proper send off at the end of next season, where he can be applauded for what will be nearly 10 years of service by that point. So, and I think that's probably the fairest way of doing it. If he turns up next season, if he really turns up next season and turns into one of the best defenders in the division, then we need to start having conversations. But at this current moment, my stance is let him see out the last year of his contract. We already have good defenders in the squads. With the defenders that are going to be out of contracts, and if they leave or whatever, we're going to have Faulkner still if we sign on a new deal. We're going to have Jay McGrath. We're going to have Olawu for another year. We're probably going to bring in one or two new centre backs in the summer to replace the ones that are outgoing. So for me, I think Anderson should just see out his last year, and that's just my personal stance on it. Looking at other performers, like I said, the first half, like I said, I think after we scored our goal through the own goal, I think it was very much their game. Lotus Tyler did well, made a couple of good saves. I thought the defence held solid again. I thought Richard Wood obviously it was unlucky with Richard Wood with that own goal. But for me, I think that having Wood in that defence just makes us even more secure. And I love that. And then the second half came along and we were better than the first half. I thought it was better than the first half. I thought the first few minutes of the second half, was quite scrappy. It was quite a scrappy start, but we got into it. We held our own. We got our stride together, and we should have put 4 or 5 in the back of the net. If we're being perfectly honest here, it's all about taking your chances when it matters. There was debate over the Richard Wood one, whether that was offside or not, the disallowed goal, when obviously we were already up by 2. From that angle, it's tough, but it's pretty close. I mean, I would have to see a different angle on that one, but for me, I think it was pretty close. In terms of our second goal, I love the finish in the bottom corner from Adelakun. Again, just shines. He just turned up in that second half and just absolutely shone. But the main thing about that goal for me was the way Matthew Craig won that ball back and decided to put the low cross along the ground rather than go over the top. That right there is football intelligence. At such a young age, that is football intelligence. Matthew Craig gets his body in the way, wins that ball back, comes on that side, on that far side, and instead of going for a ball over the top, he has the football brain to read the game, read the pitch, read the box, and say, right, I need to put one on the ground here. Puts it on the ground, Adelakun turns, bottom corner, 2-1. That right there for a young midfielder is football intelligence. And Matthew Craig's been really coming on strong the past few games. He really, really has. When he started at Rovers, he was getting bullied off the ball quite a bit, and it was hard to keep the ball. But as he wore on the past few games, he's been good. He's been great. He's not like other young players do. When young players sometimes lose the ball, they kind of just go into their shell a bit. Matthew Craig hasn't done that the past few games. What he's done is he's instantly won the ball back or tried to win the ball back. And that right there is a centre midfielder that is built for gegenpress. And over time, I think that's what McCann's looking to build. He's looking to build a style of gegenpress where you win the ball back. We're not really known for possession, and the possession stats on average this season tell that. I think we're 48, 49% on average in possession for the league. But we are in the 70 percentage mark for like overall passing teams. So we build the ball up and we press to win it back. We are a gegenpressing team. We're building towards a gegenpress squad. So for me, I feel like we are building towards that. We're building towards a gegenpress team of some sort. May not be a style of gegenpress that people recognize at the top level, etc. But it's a form of gegenpress. We're using traits of gegenpress. We're using methods and rules of gegenpress in our style of play, in our tactical setup. So for me, I think that Matthew Craig has demonstrated those traits and rules of gegenpress. Again, Adelakun had a great game. Owen Bailey. Owen Bailey's a weird one because first half it wasn't amazing. Second half it was better, and he was winning pretty much every header as well. So we can be proud of that. What do we need to work on? First half, especially, we were still giving the ball away way too much. We weren't keeping the control of the game, and I think if we're going to go with that gegenpress style, we need to be, more on that in terms of controlling the tempo of a match. If we know that a side's going to have more possession than us, we need to be aware of that and use that gegenpressing trait of winning the ball back as much as we can and control the tempo in our favour. It's basic football, but the masters of the 5-yard, 10-yard pass. There was times where we didn't do that, and we should have done that. But we can do that with time and with development. Do I think that we're safe now? I'm not going to sit here and say that yet because we know that 2 weeks can change everything. But I think if we beat Grimsby on Saturday, I would consider us probably safe. I think if we beat Grimsby, because we'll be quite far off. So I'm not going to call it yet. But I think one more win will probably guarantee it on paper. So that's where I stand on it. I thought Salford's free kick to make it 2-2 was good. Nothing much I could have done with that. Garbutt did well with the free kick. And yeah, it sucks because Salford really got that free kick. It was a good goal, don't get me wrong. Great goal by Garbutt, but it was against the run of play. 100% against the run of play. Because I felt we could have won that by 3 or 4 if we took a couple of our chances. So, but there we go. 2-2, and we move on to Saturday. At the beginning of that game, I would have taken a point. 100 million% I'd have taken a point out of an informed Salford. And to get a point where we could have won that game by 3 or 4 against an informed Salford City shows we are making progress and also shows that those January signings are really starting to bloom now. Craig's getting better. Adelakun keeps getting better. We have Billy Waters, who was running around a lot, getting involved a lot. Didn't really get involved as much as we'd like to, but he was trying to get involved. He was still running around trying to get involved with stuff. Just didn't have his moment today. It'll come though. I think Billy Waters is getting better. And then obviously we know Carty's gone back to Bolton anyway, so that's one January signing. And then Loads Tyler as well. Again, Loads Tyler. I think that he keeps getting better. He keeps going from strength to strength. And one thing I will say, and I said this in a previous video, Jones is a traditional keeper. That's why he stays on his line, or part of the reason why he stays on his line. He's a traditional keeper. He's not a sweeper keeper that's going to come out of his area. I think our style of play suits a sweeper keeper more than a traditional keeper. I think that Lewis Jones can transition into a sweeper keeper, but he needs to just keep working on commanding his area, keep working on coming off his line in the right areas at the right time. Loads Tyler's doing that. And I think he's working his way towards a permanent contract at some point if we can. Same with Adelakun. Hopefully at some point, same with Waters. Matthew Craig, I think he's till 2026 at Spurs, so I don't think that will be a permanent deal. But it's worth the inquiry. But there we go, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching this video. Stay tuned for a review from Grimsby this weekend. And for now, guys, I am the CHALL. Ta-ra for now.